Thank you so much for taking time out for the segment, Nilesh. And the last time when we interacted, since then it has been a party mood on D Street, and we've been going from strength to strength. Today also we saw a bit of rally on D Street as well in the run up to the main event. So what is D Street penciling in?
Essentially, this is a dream run for India. I've never
Ah,
seen markets so optimistic about the future. It's like our T20 campaign,
hmm,
where there are points when we were stressed, undoubtedly, yes, but ultimately we emerged victor because we had good balance in the team, some dashing batsmen, some good fielders, some good bowling, and most importantly, never say die attitude. The same thing is there in Indian markets. Today,
hmm,
fundamentals are in place. Our GDP is fastest growing in the major economies. Earnings
hmm,
growth in corporate India is at 12-15%. And profit to GDP ratio is nearly all-time high.
right.
There is also liquidity, and liquidity does create froth. Where there is excess concentration of liquidity, there is froth in the market, undoubtedly. But broad market, when we talk, it's still reasonable. And finally, there is governance. The combination of growth, governance, and liquidity is
Hmm.
kind of creating this kind of market. There will be undoubtedly ups and downs.
Right.
And maybe we will need one Surya Kumar Yadav who converted the six into a catch and won the match for us.
Nice analogy there, Nilesh, and looking forward to all those analogies as well. You are pro at that, especially with the cricket and the market. So yes, definitely. So moving on to my next question. So for the NDA three, this time around that we are dealing with, or you could say that NDA three now leading the charge this time around. That's the captain, Mr. Modi, third time around. Do you see a populist budget, and what could be the major highlights?
So my feeling is that this budget will be what was vote on account plus something.
Hmm.
Unlikely that it will be hugely populist.
Right.
Number one, Kshitij, by this time, finance minister have problems of plenty on resources side.
Ah,
She has got 1,23,000 crore additional compared
hmm.
to last year from RBI by way of dividend income.
Yes.
The tax buoyancy, by and large, in last 2-3 years, have ensured that your actual tax collection is more than budgeted estimate.
Hmm.
And finally, this market rally has pumped up market cap of PSUs.
Hmm.
And today you will be able to raise 2-3 times more than the previous divestment target. So
Right.
finance minister has all the resources she needs to
Hmm.
achieve a combination of Trinity of Impossible. One, she must pursue the path of fiscal prudence.
Right.
Vote on account number of 5.1% is step in the right direction. If
Hmm.
our combined state and central deficit comes below 7%, there is a reasonably good chance of rating upgrade.
Ah.
Second, she must continue investment in infrastructure.
Hmm.
Between 2014 to 24, we have built as much infrastructure as was existing before 2013. This has
Right.
created multiplier effect and pushed India to be fifth largest economy, and we
Hmm.
will overtake Japan and Germany to become third
Hmm.
largest economy.
Hmm.
And third, and finally, she must also support consumption at the bottom end of the pyramid and in rural India. It's not
Absolutely.
that consumption there is not growing, but it's
Hmm.
not growing as fast as it should be.
Hmm.
Supporting consumption at the bottom end of pyramid, that will sustain this growth cycle even longer. So you have the resources, you have already walked on that path for last 10 years. Please
Right.
continue doing the good work.
Hmm. No, no, absolutely. And the good work, I'm sure, will continue in this time around as well in 2024 for the next year. And I'm sure the vision that the Prime Minister carries is not just for the next 5 years, but for 2047. And that is where my probably my next question will be around, and that is on Viksit Bharat. So I'm sure we've used this word, or we've seen this word multiple times coming from ministry as well as from the Prime Minister. So will this budget sort of lay down the foundation for a Viksit Bharat by 2047? What are your views on that? And that's definitely clearly been the vision from the Prime Minister's side as well.
So, Kshitij bhai, there are very few countries like Korea which has escaped from the middle income trap. Korea and India has a lot of commonality. We got independence 47, they got 1 year behind us in 48. We were colonized brutally by Britishers. Korea had colonization in one form or other between Japan and others. At the time of independence, we were separated between then Pakistan, now Bangladesh, and India.
Right.
They got divided post-independence between North and South.
North and South Korea.
We have a reasonably hostile neighbors. They also have got that favor. In 1960, India and Korea had similar per capita GDP. Today, they are developed nations, 17 times ahead of us. They were able to escape this middle income trap through the reforms, through hard work. Now, sometimes back, I had just mentioned that, look, Charlie Munger mentioned that Koreans work 84 hours a week. By no means I had suggested that Indians should also work that hard. And in social media, people jumped on me without reading what I have mentioned.
Right.
Now, can a country grow without working hard?
Huh.
In this budget, in the vote on account, we had proposed 1 lakh crore funding for futuristic investment. I think that funding must be utilized appropriately. India had fermentation plants at the time of independence. Today, after 3 decades of not producing penicillin, we have started making penicillin. We can't become a pharma superpower unless until we have fermentation plant. We design chips, we consume chips, but we don't fabricate them. Now we are in the process of bringing fabrication company to set up their chip plants in India. We lost out on industrial revolution, and that's where from number one country in the world having 25% plus market share, we came down to as little as 1%. There was one journey of 25 to 1 decline for India. Now artificial intelligence revolution is coming. This 1 lakh crore should be used to create India's own foundation for artificial intelligence. There are much more smarter people than me who can opine on that. But my simple analogy is, when we run our vehicles on someone else's road, we pay the toll. If we can run other people's vehicle on our road, we will get the toll. That's what artificial intelligence foundation is. So this budget, by investing in education, by investing in skilling, by investing in healthcare, will make India future ready. And then hopefully, like Korea, we will be able to move to developed nation status.
Right. Making India future ready. That's the theme coming in from Nilesh. And yes, it's good to have these strong words, and from a government side, having a Viksit Bharat theme by 2047. But at the same time, work should also be aligned in a way that we are moving towards that target. Now, let me also quickly move on to the infra space. In the interim budget, government did announce an outlay for 11.1 lakh crore, and for this final one, where is the big ticket spending that will happen? What are your expectation or views on that?
So earlier, our focus was more on road. Then it became road and railway. Then it became road, railway, and water. I think now we'll have to focus on energy or power. Our power plants are running at 81% plus PLF. Power demand is growing at 15% plus year on year. Power supply is not growing at that pace. We will
mm,
have to invest for one, generation, second,
mm,
efficient distribution, and third, smart collection. Unless until we can do that, the base material for growth power might be in short
mm,
supply in the days to come. So my
mm,
feeling is that this budget will focus not only upon road, railway, and water as before, but also
mm,
focus upon power as a sector. The second thing, we have seen today in the geopolitical context that in the defense equipments, you better be self-dependent.
right,
We have seen for a country like Israel, they were running short of ammunition, even from
mm,
friendly suppliers. We have two hostile neighbors, and we must invest in our defense sector to become self independent. We can also support this sector so that we become exporter and make other people dependent on us.
mm,
Now, it's difficult to make a jump, but the whole warfare is changing. From tanks, things are moving to drones. Can
mm.
we be future ready there so that people remain dependent on us and we remain independent?
Absolutely. Valid point there. And, in the conversation, Liz, you did highlight about fiscal prudence and what is the kind of fiscal target or fiscal deficit target you foresee for FY25? Is there a number that you think could probably halt or put brakes on the bull run, considering the fact it could be, the budget could be tilted towards populist measures?
So, Kshitij, by today we don't have problem of resources.
That's right.
Between
Yes.
RBI dividend,
Mm.
between tax buoyancy, and between divestment, you can get 3 lakh crore additional than what you had proposed in the vote on account. 3 lakh crore.
Right.
Our
That's
problem
massive.
is to be able to spend this money wisely or not. So
Right.
my
Right.
limited submission will be, let's keep 5.1% fiscal deficit target.
Right.
Let's aim for combined fiscal deficit of center and state below 7.
Mm,
Let's guide for future fiscal deficit 4.5 for FY26 and so on and so forth. And
mm,
use
mm.
this money wisely to ensure that our growth goes to a higher orbit.
Absolutely. Valid point there, Nilesh. And coming to taxation, do you see any tweaks in the taxation structure as well, direct or corporate?
See, corporate India is already enjoying one of the lowest taxation.
Uh,
On the other hand, and it might be, pleading in my own defense, individuals are 39% tax, and I'm one of them, so I'm interested.
yes.
It's very high.
Yeah.
Now, today, there's no equitable distribution of income tax. Salaried class like me are honestly
Mm,
paying because we don't have a choice.
mm,
But there are many non-salaried class which are not paying their fair share of tax.
mm, mm.
Can we create equitable distribution of taxation burden so that government does not lose out on resources? Better compliance results into higher flows and lower
Mm,
taxation rates.
mm. Absolutely, absolutely, Nilesh, and that's something that's a pain point for most of the salary class. There, you just pinpointed it. Well, in the meantime, let me also take you, from taxation to the smaller the mid cap space, which which in terms of valuation has sort of getting on to the higher level, you could say that, but probably wanted to get your viewpoint of the same, because the voice is getting louder about the premium valuation seen in certain pockets of small and the mid cap space, and probably in the budget one theme could be PLI incentives could be there, or there could be optimism Bharat initiatives that is keeping the the fire running in the broader market space. What are your views on that?
So, Kshitij Bhai, undoubtedly, we believe there is froth in the market in certain segment.
Mhm.
Low floating stock counters, concentrated holding counters are today trading at valuation which does not make sense from an ordinary point of view.
Right.
My request to investors will be, number one, be aware that markets are optimistically pricing everything. There
Right.
is fundamentals, there is sentiment, there is liquidity, and hence this valuation. But
Mm,
these valuations are factoring in everything working properly. Second, please moderate your return expectation. What we have
mm,
seen over last 1 year, what we have seen since COVID days, is an exception that's unlikely to sustain going forward unless we go into bubble territory.
mm,
Third, there was a wide gap between large, mid, and small in terms of performance. That gap is
mm,
likely to narrow down substantially.
mm,
Fourth, when you are investing, don't look at past performance and invest. Look at future
mm,
potential and invest.
right,
And many of the companies at this valuation will have to do tremendous performance.
mm, mm,
I doubt they will be in a position to achieve that in many cases. There will be some
mm,
exception, but many may not be. So
right,
focus on quality rather than momentum. Focus on reasonable valuation rather than high valuation. Moderate return expectation than continuing past performance expectation. And I think you will be still fine if you are a long term investor in India. Be
mm,
ready for volatility. This is like a roller coaster ride.
yeah.
The ride is about to accelerate further, and you
Mm.
better buckle your seatbelt.
Better buckle your seatbelt. That's the slight caution coming in there for Nilesh, but yes, rightly so at this point in time, especially in the small and the mid cap space. Let me also get your viewpoint on the consumption. Do you see a consumption getting a boost in budget 24? Any expectations from that sector?
Undoubtedly, I believe there will be boost to the consumption. Infrastructure investment will have multiplier effect. Higher
Hmm.
allocation to Manrega, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, Gram Sadak Yojana kind of things also put money in the pockets of consumers. There could be
Right.
some tax rebates for middle class. So
Hmm.
overall, there will be boost to consumption, and it is coming, on election season where money moved from government and political parties to consumers.
Right.
Monsoon is turning out to be well behaved,
Hmm.
and between election budget and monsoon we can get that boost to the consumption which can change India's growth orbit.
Right. Absolutely. Well, right. Can you hear me, Nilesh?
Yes, I can hear you.
Right. Okay. So in the meantime, before I move forward, we have a couple of questions coming in. In fact, there's one question coming in from Vikram. We've just answered that question. That is on the consumption and the FMCG basket. There's another question coming in from Shivam Kumar Verma. Now, Shivam wanted to understand, uh, two things which really got the eye apart from equities is the precious metal space, that is silver and gold. Your views on that?
So, Ksatij bhai, to me, rising silver and gold prices is a good as well as bad omen.
Hmm.
Good
Yeah.
because Indians are the largest owner of gold and silver in the world.
Hmm.
Rising price means their wealth appreciation.
Hmm.
Bad omen because on an average spend 700 tons of import of gold, silver, diamond, pearls extra.
Hmm.
If this price rise continues, instead of 30-40 billion dollars, tomorrow we'll end up paying 70-80 billion dollars for import of gold and silver. I don't think so we have ability to do that.
Hmm.
I hope and pray that government reduces import duty on gold and silver in this budget.
Hmm.
That will ensure that gold smuggling stops. Otherwise, it's too lucrative for smugglers, as evident in daily customs seizure of gold and silver.
Right.
Second, we form a policy to bring gold lying in tijori and bank lockers into the open
Hmm.
economy. That's a
Hmm.
frozen saving, and
Hmm.
we must defreeze that saving so that it supports economy.
Hmm.
And third, we must recycle gold. We are importing 700 tons every year.
Right.
How much gold we are sitting on, who knows? We
Right.
must create a scheme to recycle India's gold within India. We must bring Tijorika gold into economy, and we must discourage gold smuggling.
Valid point there, bringing the Tijori ka gold into the economy in Indonesia. Yes, and valid point there. Definitely, that is something which as an economy, we are also looking forward to, because, as you rightly pointed out, that result in outgo of foreign exchange reserves from the country. Apart from that, do you see any specific measures coming in from the auto and auto ancillary sector, because that has also picked up momentum?
So within auto today, there is hydrogen fuel cell, which is not present in India
Mhm.
as much. Electric, where India has taken baby steps.
Okay.
Hybrid, where again India has taken baby steps. And then we
Mhm.
also have fossil fuel cars. I think it's writing on the wall that the world will move from fossil fuel to non-fossil fuel.
Right.
But whether it's hydrogen fuel cell, whether it's electric, whether it's hybrid, who knows?
Mhm.
I think this budget should encourage Indians to invest in vertical integration of technology. If it's hybrid, so be it. If it's electric, so be it.
Mhm.
If it's hydrogen fuel cell, so be it. But
Mhm.
it should not happen that we replace fossil fuel, where we are dependent upon outside world for our energy security, with
Mhm.
electric, where we become dependent upon China for batteries and critical minerals. We
Mhm.
should try to
Mhm.
become Atmanirbhar in true sense. And
Right.
while options are open, we must take the lead in picking up one side.
Absolutely. And very quickly, what's your view on the financial space, Nilesh, this time around? Do you see any measures coming in from the financial side, banks, private banks, PSUs?
The bankers will be looking for some sort of encouragement for deposit mobilization.
Okay.
But many a times we end up missing jungle for the wood.
Hmm.
Between FY21 and 23, 4 lakh crore, about 5% of total savings came to mutual funds. 2
Hmm.
lakh crore, about 2% of total savings came towards direct equity stocks and bonds and debentures. Against that 6 lakh crore, 9 lakh crore went into currency notes.
Okay.
Somewhere we are liking currency notes so much, or I think every Indian believes that if you keep currency note in your matrices at home, it will double. No one has seen this in thousands of years, but people still continue to believe it. Whichever
Hmm.
with the case may be, the currency leakage, the fetish for currency among Indians is something which we need to tackle. That will
Hmm.
create flow for financial sector. There's
Hmm.
30 to 33 lakh crore worth of currency moving in the economy. I think we
Hmm.
can live with probably half of it.
Absolutely valid point there, Nilesh. And yes, nobody has seen the money doubling in if you keep it under the mattress. That is for sure. Well, on that positive note, thank you so much for your time, Nilesh. And that's all for now. We do say log on to Eating Markets live stream for more investment and trading ideas. Thank you so much for your time, sir. And we'll collect post budget on your recommendation. All right.